Hey, what's up guys? The smallest brain deck in Clash Royale has just evolved to become even easier. The ranked 3 player in the world has wandered up to the top of Clash Royale using this giant graveyard deck. Almost all of the meta right now is filled with bait, and by using Bomber, Bowler, Witch, and double small spells, you eradicate them. And since Pekka finished #1 in the world last season, and Pekka and Wizard are some of the strongest cards in the game, this giant graveyard deck has incorporated Witch to completely counter Pekka. Pekka and Bridge Fan players will hate you when they find themselves distracted by Witch skeletons permanently, while bowlers bounce back battle rams, ram riders, mini Pekkas, and anything annoying like elite barbarians. If giant graveyard doesn't sleazily steal the game, the bowler and evolved bomber certainly will. Since cannoneer is the best tower at pro level, Witch spawning skeletons and graveyard skeletons getting directly on tower makes this deck better than ever. It's time to start up our non-stop skeleton spawning and assert dominance. And wild Witch love to everyone that's supporting the channel with creator code SirTag. Yo, this guy's got Witch in the banner. It's almost as if he knows what's gonna happen to him. We're gonna go to the moon with Witch value. So, Witch in the back is the best way of stopping this guy's attack. As you guys can see, we have skeletons swarming already, and I bet you he's gonna go in for some type of spell. Yeah, kind of anticipated that. I'm gonna snowball back and make sure we don't take any damage from these barbarians initially. I think it will get one hit on my tower, but it's not that bad. Ooh, almost the second one. My guy. Lightning's on a Witch for a -1 trade, and he's gonna try to ban it on my bomber, but we got the fast fingers out here. Mobile, gaming, athlete, reflexes, as we dive headfirst into a Pekka, which isn't actually that bad for me because you have to think about it. He dropped 7 elixir on a Pekka. He barely has any elixir left over, and now his Pekka is gonna get pummeled by either a Witch or bats. I could do either. I wanna go for bats because I believe this is gonna be a better trade with our opponent not having a good answer. There's a high likelihood that he just loses that Pekka and gives the juicy King Tower activation, so we will snag that. So I prefer to cycle a bowler here to activate King Tower compared to cycling something else like a Witch because the bowler has higher health. He's able to hit a couple firecracker shots and not even care about it. Oh, the firecracker is going to go away, so we're going to have to knock the Valkyrie into us. That doesn't feel good, man. I didn't notice that we were hitting the Valkyrie into our bowler, but hey, it happens. Bowler, you literally have 1 health. I think that's the lowest health bowler I've ever seen. That has to be an accomplishment in Clash Royale. If you guys have seen a lower health Clash Royale bowler, y'all let me know. I'm thinking like maybe in Clash Mini, maybe if you're playing, I don't know, some different game in the Clash universe like Squad Busters, but I've never seen that in Clash Royale, man. I've never seen it that low. How low can you go? You can go down pretty low. I'm going to cycle a giant graveyard here because he used his arrows. He's definitely down a lot. I'm going to go bats as well because I bet he's going to have to go Pekka on the giant. But he's getting swarmed by skeletons. And this game is just over. It's easy. Sometimes when you take the tower, the skeletons will then redirect and retarget on your opponent's units. And if that happens, well, their units are just going to go in a bit of a daze and they're going to be confused. Notice how the Electro Wizard wandered in front of the Pekka. The rest of his cards, like Bandit, died to the skeletons from the graveyard. And then his Pekka goes directly into skeletons, and then, you know, Pekka becomes a big skeleton. Just not in the way that the opponent wants. It's not going to be working for him. The Pekka gets caught up in the maze of skellies. I'm amazed how easy this game was. This dude truly tried his hardest, but in the end, resistance was futile, proving how broken this deck is in the face of a Pekka deck. Giant graveyard triumphs. I gotta hand it to the MVP Witch, making our plan go off without a hitch, distracting the Pekka, and having value go over the moon. Healing from our opponent's name while we steal the game. Yo, we got a game against the Assassin. So, our best play against this man to assassinate his towers is using our graveyards. Because as you can see, cannoneer is going to be played by most people as you reach higher and higher ranks. However, cannoneer is not very good against graveyard, neither is it good against a Witch spawning skeletons meticulously all over the map. So we're going to go in for our snowball here to knock away those piggies, and I'm ready to have a parade of bats wrecking that fly machine. So usually I think going and supporting the Witch is a good idea, but in this situation, the Witch is a one-woman army. She doesn't need some support. Oh, okay. Skeleton King and Mother Witch. Awesome. Great card combination, my guy. Appreciate the heck out of you. Okay. All right, so at least the Mother Witch is slightly underleveled. I'll take the +1 level advantage, but still, like, that card is troublesome to say the least. It is, however, out of cycle, so we are going to go for a gigantic graveyard push here. And maybe we can assassinate the Assassin. Guys can have Mother Witch Royal Recruits. Wow, what a wacky deck, man. Most of the time when we see Royal Recruits at the meta, it's always going to be paired with either a Fisherman or something along the lines of Goblin Cage. usually not going to be played with Mother Witch. So if I can defend this next push, I probably just win the match. It seems like my guy got absolutely annihilated, trying to the last possible second and still getting 3 crown without snagging a single tower. Completely casual games for Giant Graveyard, assassinating the assassin despite the man having Mother Witch. This guy's got the sick elixir golem banner, and I'm already sick to my stomach if that's what we're going to be matching into. It's a difficult card to play into because you're going to be spawning a lot of skeletons with your witch, and then it gives the battle healer a mechanism of healing up their entire push. Also, not having Fireball in your deck is a really bad recipe for disaster. So in this game, I'm going to play a bit more safe than normal. I'll cycle our bats here and we'll figure out what this guy's going to do. I'll go for a snowball as well. It's unlikely that we are able to get any damage on the skeleton dragons, but I'll take anything I can get. Oh, we did. Nice. All right, we'll cycle our witch because we need to save our bowler and our robust splash damage with our bomber. Okay, so the witch survived a while, and it's gonna, oh, I thought it was gonna wander out of the void. That was so troll. I think that the radius of the void didn't show that the witch was inside it, but it still died. We can get a replay check on that for my editor, but I think she was out of the line of fire. It just looked like she was out of the line of fire. I wasn't ready for that thing to betray me like that. How dare you, game? Oh, okay. All right. It's gonna give me back what I deserve. We get the bomber splash damage. I guess what goes around comes around. Don't really think I deserve that bomber hit, so we'll take it. I'm gonna go for a giant in the back here. The bat is also marvelously pounding away on the minion, and cycling that giant forces me to be dedicated to this push. But at the same time, even though I am dedicated to it, we are able to carnivorously eat away at the skeleton dragons. Even though they don't have that much meat on their bones, I guess none at all, we are able to go in for a gigantic push here, utilizing the giant's health, not getting aggressive with the giant itself, knowing that it's just a mechanism and a vehicle of tanking for our skeletons. So yeah, giant, you might not have been the healthiest Sir on this planet, but you still did your miracles that you were supposed to do. So I wonder if we're going to go in for a giant on the left side here, because if we go in the right, nah, let's just keep going right. Let's just keep going right. It's the best way to make this actually a meaningful push. We do have the bowler, might as well try to do something with it. I'll go for witch so I can start to work away on his air cards, because if he fully focuses on a defense here, I need to kill the skeleton dragons and the mega minions so he can't go in for a lava hound behind this. That's exactly what he's trying to do to me. Oh man, wait, can we pull this the other side with a bowler? Kind of, right? Not that scuffed, is it? It might be super scuffed. I don't know, guys. You know what? Screw it. I can't necessarily defend that. So I'm going to go giant graveyard here. I'm going to relinquish their tower because I can't stop the balloon. I know what I can and can't defend, and I'm going to go in for the win here. I'm going to go for the witch on the other side, and then I think we're fine. We're not going to get 3 crown by this. We just need to pop the balloon so we can get a good arrows off. And then I can go in for our bats here on defense, and then I can go for another giant. The way that I'm playing this is calculative. Sometimes you might be like, oh, I can defend this. I have to defend this. My tower's at full HP. But if you literally can't defend your opponent's cards, it's better to go for offense, because offense is the best defense in this game with Giant Graveyard. If your opponent can't defend your cards and you can't defend theirs, you're just going to do more damage if you have a sizable advantage on them to start with. I'm going to go in for a bowler right now, and then I'm also going to go for bats, because I plead the fifth on what I'm doing right now. I don't really know if this is the best possible play, but it is the way that we're going to play today. I'm going to go for another giant. Oh, man, this is just so dirty. Like, I'm literally ignoring all of his cards, because if he goes in for balloon, I can't stop it. If he goes in for balloon, I literally lose. So if I go for the graveyard right now, and I snowball, and it doesn't distract, we're going to win. Like, there's nothing that he can do to stop the skeletons, because he went in for a lava hound, which costs 7 elixir. So you're not going to have enough to stop the giant and the graveyard simultaneously. Sure, he was able to go for a tombstone, barely get back to enough elixir for the zap on the skeletons, but more skeletons took their place, and then we took the tower. It's kind of crazy to say, but sometimes the safest play with Giant Graveyard is going recklessly all in for the win, which coincidentally allows stupid players to be successful too. Okay, Evolve Goblin Barrel in the banner. So I wonder if that's going to be his ace up his sleeve, or if he's going to have some other underhanded tactics. Usually for us, cycling an evolution is the stairway to success. It's not working great because we cycled in the opposite side of the Royal Hogs. We're getting royally wrecked by the pigs. That's going to be a bunch of damage if we didn't go in for the snowball. I had to allocate a solid 7 elixir compared to his 5, and then I cycled bats into the abyss. So I dropped 9 and he dropped 5. So he's up 4 from that interaction. Really bad for us. Simple math to figure out that we're kind of screwed. Oh, wait. He literally lost almost all of his Archer Queen to a Wandering Witch. That did not make sense. And he pops an Archer Queen ability so fast, so furious. He only got 1 hit from an Archer Queen. So from that insane positive elixir trade that he got earlier, he didn't get much out of it. So I'll take it, you know. I vibe with that fully. Oh, wow. You know what? Screw that. We're going to go and say sayonara to the Tesla, and hopefully we can say goodbye to your tower too. Usually cycling a snowball there feels better, but if we go bats, we might be able to bewilder our bro and lock onto the Archer Queen part 2. Can we tango with the queen? Can we be real mean to the queen? You guys already know. That queen is getting beaten around every single time. It doesn't even make sense. I mean, we can snowball. It might just get one shot. Yeah, we're going to snowball that thing back. Get away from me, queen. No one loves you. All right, cool. All right, I just had to say that, and then she left me. That's what you got to say. You got to be real mean to the queen, and then she's just going to, you know, dip out. She's going to be like, I don't want to be treated that way, Jake. And then you're fine, and you're vibing. So strategy for us is definitely going for giant graveyards when our opponent goes in for a bad Tesla like that. If your opponent cycles a Pekka in the back, they Tesla randomly. If they drop a building that they're not supposed to, they will lose the game to a giant graveyard 90% of the time. This guy somehow struggled and saved his stuff, but man, took a ton of damage there. But we're able to giant in the back and then drop it in the lower HP tower that we're going towards, because if he goes on the other side, we got a witch. We're not in a bad spot here if the guy wants to go and bombard us with a crazy counter. I'm going to go for bats here because we will be able to get a lot of health. If you guys don't know, the bats get more health as they start to attack. They're at their max health right now, so he has to delivery on these. You can't not delivery on this, my guy. You need to delivery on these. Look how much damage they're going to do. It's insane that he doesn't respect it. I guess he has to not respect it because look at the other side. I mean, we got a giant flying at his face. We're easily able to go for a snowball. Tried to make a prediction. I felt fancy and it wasn't good, but it doesn't matter. I fancy this Evil Bomber even more than how fancy our plays were because the Evil Bomber splashing onto the tower is good measure for us to get the GG. Fun strategy for us. Always easy games, even into some of the most defensive decks in the game. With an evolved Tesla, nothing stops the sinister spam of Giant Graveyard. In the Clash Royale arena, skeleton spam surely swarms. This guy's got a Valkyrie in the banner, so it makes sense that he's cutting the silence, cycling a bandit in the back. Generally, whenever we play against someone that has bandit, they will probably be playing Pekka, but it's not a guarantee. I want to go in for a Giant Graveyard on the right-hand side because likely has to respond to this bowler, and he's going to go Executioner, so that's awesome. I love the fact that we get a positive elixir trade in the face of the bandit, then get to go in for a graveyard with giant in the right, and any cards that he drops that are actual units, like maybe a bowler counter, just going to go directly into a cannoneer and get deleted for a really good trade. Because you have to think about it from this perspective. Not only did we counter the executioner, but we also were able to delete the bandit with the bowler, so that's 5 elixir plus 3. We only spent 5, so we're up 3 elixir there. Definitely want to go in for the bomber, but at this point, I think it's a little bit safer to cycle the witch because it will defend both sides simultaneously with a bowler and a witch. Like that a little bit more, honestly. We'll see what he's going to do. We'll see what he's going to do. If I go bowler at the river, will that lock onto the tower? It feels like it shouldn't. It feels like it really shouldn't, but maybe it does. Oh, cool. It does. Oh my gosh, more than that. That's even better. Hey, we'll take it. I'm going to snowball, and then I'm going to go bats, and I think the bandit dies. Yep. Awesome. Barely have to spend any extra elixir here. We will take some damage, but it's not the end of the world. If we arrows, we're totally chilling, finishing off the rest of those recruits. It's nice to know that the bandit's not going to dash in your tower because the snowball slows it down, and you're like, yes, do it. I believe in you, snowball. It is such a good spell. Love the slow effect there. So into interactions where you're playing against an executioner or card that would typically destroy all of your bait cards, really good to cycle the bowler in the back, which is good against any melee card, even a Valkyrie, because watch as the skeletons will decay and slow down our opponent's push. He's going to try to make something happen here, ensure his cards can counter us, but he really has to make his way through a maze of skeletons and also us going in for cards like a snowball to slow him down even further. This guy's got poison, so I mean, we played against Mother Witch earlier. Now we're playing against a poison player. It's interesting how the meta shifts. Oh, wait, please, Valkyrie, pull that giant in. Oh, that would have been awesome. Wait. We're fine. We're fine. This is so calculated. We're going to Evo Bomber on the Valkyrie and win the game. And we're going to bounce it back with the snowball so we get more damage, hopefully. Oh my goodness. It didn't work as we wanted. That would have been so nice. I was hopeful that the Valkyrie would be knocked back in a straight line, but maybe I have to practice my snowball interactions, guys. I'm going to go in for our Bomber and our Bats as fast as possible because obviously he is going to arrows one of them and he's not going to be able to arrow both. Not the way that the game works, my guy. I'm going to go Witch here afterward and then hopefully be able to go for a good graveyard soon. Especially if you want to go and place down that poison. I don't care. I can drop a graveyard without any support whatsoever because our bowler is ready to strike you down. Yes, sir. Bowler, beyond a shadow of a doubt, was definitely the MVP of the match. Knocking away executioners, somehow getting that chip damage at the start of the game, and ending our opponent at the final stretch. Couldn't ask for more from our big bowler bro. Yo, dude's got an Electro Giant in the banner, and I would love to play into Electro Giant with Cannoneer because guess what? We got skeletons everywhere, bro. I'm ready. So if he is going to go Bomber in the back, it is really indicative of an Electro Giant deck. That card is typically played with Electro Giant because if you can't break through with the E-Giant into a Pekka, well, you need to find another alternative way of splashing onto your opponent's tower, and the Evolved Bomber accomplishes that beautifully. This might be a graveyard deck, though. He might be trying to do some mind games with me. Anyway, we're going to go Bats at the river. Usually don't advise people to do this, but in an interaction where our opponent has Cannoneer, it's difficult for him to give value. Also, by the way, I believe that I can graveyard to my maximum extent of stupidity. Want to graveyard at every twist and turn because we can churn out value. Also, I can arrows here to finish off the Bomber and the skeletons that would be a problem. You all might think, why would you ever arrows the Cannoneer and also the Tombstone skeletons? But you have to think about, hey, I've got Cannoneer. It doesn't do so well. It doesn't play nicely with skeletons. We set them up on a play date. Well, we might come out with a few bruises and battered from the skeletons munching on me. So can't have that happen here. I'm going to go for Bowler in the back on the same side as the Ice Wizard. There's a high likelihood that he goes in for a graveyard. We're going to get ready with our Witch to cycle it as soon as he possibly can if he goes in for a graveyard. Because if we do drop our Witch, we want the skeletons to start spawning. So there's something to keep into consideration. Also, if we go for Bats right now on top of this Baby Dragon, that would be awesome. As long as we can kill that card, we're in a good spot. We're going to go in for our Giant, and then we're going to try to go graveyard as early as possible. The reason why we're doing this is there's an unlikely situation where the Bat is the best MVP of the game on the left, cleaning up all the Tombstone skeletons, but he's not going to have poison back in cycle. We're getting a really sizable amount of damage here. Usually, they'll always be able to afford the poison in double elixir, but in single elixir, they can't. So if they go in for the poison and they aren't able to afford all their necessary defenses to shut down the Giant graveyard, they lose the game, right? So you have to fight when the elixir counts are low, or you are going to get dealt the finishing blow of your opponent going Giant graveyard counters every single time, and then they're just going to win the game because they'll always have enough elixir to stop you. So I've played this matchup enough to realize that. Also, I'm going to keep up the pressure so he can't go in for graveyards. We want him to focus on defending against the Witch, and if he's poisoning on the graveyard, he's not able to poison on the Witch. That's a huge benefit for this deck again. You always have to be mindful of the stupid Tombstone from the opponent because you can't like let those skeletons run rampant. I might be fine here going for a Witch in the back because he'll probably set up a graveyard here. I just wanted to preclude any potential of him graveyarding me immediately. Then I'm going to go Bats. Then I'm going to Giant. If he went in for the graveyard and the poison, I know that I need to make something happen here. I'm going to take a ton of damage, but it's a necessity for me to bounce back. We're going to go in for a Evolved Bomber as well. I think we might be able to get a lineup with one of the skeletons. Beautiful. Snowball for the win. Snowball for the win, please. Let's go. Graveyard poison still can't stop Giant graveyard. That's what we love to see when the most defensive decks in the game got beaten down. This deck's constant aggression really heated up the match to the point that it was raining down skeletons on snow. Even combining poison with one of the most ice-cold defenses in the game, he still got melted. Spawn some likes on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more daily content, and have an amazing rest of your day.